Hey guys, we are back. That was a convincing victory. Kill 2. That looked pretty easy. There wasn't a lot of damage going back to that dark side team. What did they do to keep the damage off them?
Yeah, I think that Angel back there hit it on the head right at the end. The 2 curses. We talked about curses and how that tracking disruption roll was secondary. In this match, it was absolutely primary. I mean, I didn't know if the curses would be able to get locks. What team was the other team?
Versus me.
Thank you. Morris Mihi looked to me kind of like a damp heavy team. Was a guess I had, and I was worried the curse wouldn't be able to lock. But since they were, the tracking disruptors from 2 curses is really enough to shut all the damage out from all 3 Macarials. And that's why there really wasn't any damage, I think.
It definitely was. Brianna, would you put it past these teams to be spying on each other? Because that dark side team was perfect against the Mortis Mihi setup.
Well, I'm not gonna assume that I know everything, but these teams do practice with each other, and a lot of them do have insider knowledge of like you could have an out in another alliance, and for all you know, you could have the setup all posted on the forums, and they could just get it right away, and so there might be a leak right here, as you can see from the Star Faction team performance in the past few rounds. It's almost pretty obvious that they must have had their setups leaked to the other teams, but who knows. It's very possible.
And then, of course, there's Pandemic Legion, who claims to have all the setups.
I believe them. They're definitely, very good at forum, being strong at forums.
And getting camped into stations on test servers.
Exactly.
But that's something completely different. Spying in Eve. 4P, is that something that we should be taking away, or is it a cool aspect of the game, or we, yeah?
Actually, next expansion, all spying will be illegal.
You'll simply be banned.
Yes.
For knowing anything you're not supposed to.
No, it's a great part of the game if you can spy on your opponent, just like in real life. I mean, we have spies everywhere, and it just makes sense to have that in a game like Eve. I mean, it's a sandbox game. Stuff is allowed.
Yeah, and I mean, there are some people who like to play the game to go out and fly around low sec and shoot people, and there are some people that want to mine an empire, and there are some people that just want to spy on other alliances.
Yeah.
I mean,
you should be able to do whatever you want to do.
It's a valid playstyle.
Yes.
It certainly is.
It just sucks when you're spied upon.
Yes, that is true.
Yes.
That is true.
But you can counter-spy them.
If you spy on their spies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or you can bubble their practice station.
Or you can just bubble their practice
That works
station.
too. It works great, actually.
A funny little thing that happened. We have Solar Fleet versus Panda Team. Panda Team, of course, is not your team, Kill
Not at
2,
all.
as I mistakenly thought, but it was a panda and a bear, and they are somewhat related.
Yeah, they should be regarded as bears.
Yeah. Sometimes they can also be regarded as raccoons, but that's a completely different discussion on animals.
But an important one.
And an important one. Science is, that's what we're about. We're about spaceships, internet, and science.
Well, I think bears are better because they eat meat, and pandas just eat bamboo. So you don't have that bloodiness there.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. We are just past the halfway mark today. We have Solar Fleet versus Panda Team. We have Dystopia. We have Peisty Syndicate, who are a Finnish alliance, who have done surprisingly well this tournament. They've come in and done a great job. Pandemic Legion, the Ronin, Atlas. There's a lot of really, really strong teams here. If you were to Kill 2, if you were to point to one of the teams this tournament that had a really good setup, a setup that where you were like, wow, that's really clever. What's been your favorite so far?
One of my favorite setups actually of the tournament was what Atlas brought to round 2. It was a really specific setup. It was kind of an anti-ECM setup, and they used Vindicators for it, and I really liked that. It was like really different from almost anything that's been fielded, and it really got the job done well. They totally destroyed whoever they were playing. I don't remember who it was. But and it was from a team we don't really expect that from, which kind of gains extra points for me. Like I hadn't thought of Atlas as a creative kind of contender alliance coming in, but they kind of proved themselves, I think, in that match for me, and the setup was cool. So
yeah, it really was a cool setup, and they are definitely a nice team. One of the questions we have on the forums, Brianna, is explain to me why my favorite chip. That's not. I'm just trying to read it in his voice. It's not actually like my favorite chip. Explain to me why my favorite chip, the MR T3 Legion, has not been fielded more.
Well, I think the Legion in general is kind of inferior to all the other T3 ships. So I don't actually fly it myself. I don't have the skills to do it. Well, I'm a noob, right? But Tengus are very good at doing a lot of jobs. Like they're very good at missioning, so they're very popular for that. They're also very good at PvP. You can fit them just like a Drake, or you can fit them like a Nighthawk, and they do a lot of DPS if you fit them just for DPS. They can tank a lot, and just like it just does a lot of things if you fit different subsystems on it. And I think we just see this lack of maneuverability that the Legion displays. And so I think definitely Tengu is very popular, to a lesser degree Loki's as well. And then what's the Galanti one? Proteus are actually pretty popular this time in the tournament. I guess they're blaster fit. They can also dish out a lot of DPS as well.
Mm-hmm. Looking at the forums, one of the things we often get is who put this amazing set together, how did they do it and everything. And the three people who are responsible for this, who have done a tremendous job this year, is CCP Alice, CCP Mirene, and CCP Hypnotic. And they have really given us a fantastic studio. It really looks amazing.
I'm really pleased about it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the desk.
Mm-hmm.
I felt exposed in previous tournaments.
You felt exposed?
Yeah.
Oh.
You had to sit way back in the chairs.
You have to keep your legs close together.
I had like a castle before. I had a castle and I could sit and dictate things. But I can't do that anymore, but I do like this setup though.
The only strange thing is that person underneath here that is controlling the light. It's kind of weird.
There's one person under each light going like this when it changes. Yeah, there's actually been yeah, but it is a really nice desk. And we have, what do we have coming up? It's Solar Fleet versus Panda Team. What do you think, Kill2?
I don't remember enough about either one to feel very strongly. I want to say Solar Fleet is the better team, but I couldn't use evidence to back that up.
I think I would have to go for Solar Fleet. So they actually had a flawless victory in round one, and they had brought some Vindicators, some Curses, and so on. I think Vindicators are just, for the cool factor, and they also are very good at doing a lot of DPS. It's very cool ships, so I got to give it to Solar Fleet for this fight.
Absolutely fair. How about you, 4P?
I think I have to depend on my previous, since I don't know these teams.
No
team that
Drakes.
doesn't have a Drake, I go for that.
That is superb. I think I'll go for Solar Fleet this time around. I've been told that we have just about 1 or 2 minutes. Let's just do one quick look at some noob knowledge. We've been talking about jammers a lot. There was dampeners this time around. Brianna, could you explain what a dampener is and what does it do?
So dampeners are kind of E-War. For people who are not familiar with E-War, is to shut basically your opponent's targeting and weapon systems down. Dampeners in this case are very common on a lot of Galanti ships. They're used to, like for example, the Lachesis, also things like carries. You can basically limit your opponent's targeting distance to what is maybe half or even a quarter of their normal targeting distance. So for example, if you have something that can, say, target up to 50K and can shoot up to that distance, now he has to go in really close, say to 20K, and so put himself into close proximity with the ship that's dampening it. And so a lot of these ships are also blaster setup. So this gives them a really big advantage if the opponent has to get up close to actually do damage to them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And with that, I think we're going to go to the match. Solar Fleet and Panda Team are ready to find out who is the biggest bear.